Welcome to the Murabbi Podcast.
Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, everybody? This is E.R. with the People's Champion, welcoming you to another episode of our podcast, the Murabbi Podcast. Again, I have my buddy with me, Qasim, or Qaswain. I call him Qasim, government name Qaswain. He's here with us. Hopefully, this is going to be a very enlightening, eye-opening episode. Today, we're going to talk about, has behavior in the classroom really gotten worse? Now, this is a very contentious issue because if you type in teaching or education into YouTube, the first 10 videos I'm sure that's going to come up will be something negative about behavior. If you're on social media at all, there's no way that you go through an entirety of social media that you don't see something negative about behavior in the classroom. I'm not saying that this is not true, but it's good just to visit these topics and discuss. So, in my day, I grew up in North Carolina, the best state in all of the United States of America, North Carolina. And I grew up in a town called King. And I can honestly say that I don't remember behavior being such a big problem. Now, I'm not saying that I was perfect. I had my issues, and I will say this is not something I should be proud of, but I am proud of it for some reason. I think I was officially the last student to be paddled. I was the last student to be paddled in that school system in the year, should I say the year? No. I'm not going to say the year.
Right.
But the thing is, yes, we did have disruptions, we did have issues, we did have problems, but I feel that there was somewhat of an understood decorum we had with our teachers. And also, I will say that I grew up in the Bible Belt, so I think the understanding or the expectation of that particular community would not allow for the behaviors in the classroom to be extreme. Now, when I was in Chicago, and again, I'm not going to date myself, but let's just say it was a long time ago, that environment was completely different than North Carolina. So it could be an environmental thing. So me, it's like, I don't know. I grew up in an area where I felt like I had great teachers, we had great rapport, and because of that, I didn't want to disappoint my teachers. That's me. Now, maybe somebody who was in South Central LA at that time, maybe they have a different experience. Now, my friend here, my man Qasim.
Right. I'm doing good, thanks.
So, I kind of gave my little monologue there about my experience with behavior in school. And again, because I know maybe some of my friends will see this and be like, nah, I know I was a problem. But not that big of a problem. Okay,
Right.
So don't try to come at me. I'm admitting that I had my issues. I was suspended a few times and detentions and yeah, I had my issues.
Right.
But I was still kind of a good guy, right?
Right.
So from your perspective, where you grew up,
Right.
I'm a bit older than you, so different.
Right.
Why are you saying right like this? You
No, I don't
trying
think.
to say, like,
I don't
that
think.
much older than you, bro?
I don't think you're that much older than me. No, I don't. But I do agree that there was, even if it was a year difference, there's still so much significant difference in behavior. That the generations are so different now, and with the advent of technology increasing as the year passes, the years past, I find that a lot of the behavior becomes more and more withdrawn. Children are a lot more antisocial, and that creates a lot of problems as well, right? So it's not just that people are antisocial, but whilst they're antisocial, they're also very violent, because they have a lot of pent up aggression. And usually when I used to feel very, upset as a child, I would just walk around to my friend and he would entertain me the whole time. And I would just, like, those problems would just melt away.
You mentioned your friend. Do you think that perhaps we valued friendship a bit more in the past?
Absolutely.
And that this, because we valued friendship, that this kind of had an influence on how we behaved in the classroom?
Absolutely, yeah. And like I remember, like when I was in primary school, I was raised partly in Jamaica, and when I was there, I remember in primary school, I had a friend, and the friend defines who you are, So I had a friend. I still remember his name, O'Dane, and he was like the class clown, So he would be around. We sat at the back, and he would be cutting these jokes, and I would be like laughing out at the back, and I learned nothing in that class. Like, I don't even remember what the teacher looks like.
You learned some jokes,
but I learned some good old jokes in it. So that was I realized, and then I left that class, and O'Dane, he left. He transferred. He went to another school. I went to year 6, and there was no more distraction, and the difference that made. I was able to focus a lot more. So in high school, I had some really geeky friends, and that really helped me with the education, the study groups.
You guys had similar goals,
similar attitude towards learning. Precisely, we were very, agentic in our own learning.
Did you guys hear that word you just used?
Agentic. Yeah, we were very, aware, and we prioritize our learning. So we'll call each other at nights, and we'll be exchanging notes over the phone. Like, in biology class today, the teacher mentioned something. What was that again? I said, what, homeostasis or neogenesis, or
like even while you're on the phone, you guys are still kind of like in the study
we're still conversing about, you get what I mean, like study sessions.
Because the flip side could be, because I actually had somewhat of the same, but
Right.
more so the negative.
Oh.
So for me, I definitely understand the impact that, and I'm not gonna go too into details.
Right.
My mom maybe she may listen to this, and I'm still just not gonna admit certain things happen.
Right.
It's just.
Right.
You don't have no proof it didn't happen. But definitely I know the impact that negative friendship can have. Yes, we were very tight, me and some of these individuals. We were very close. We supported each other. We defended each other. But a lot of the bad habits and the negative ideas that eventually I adopted was introduced from those friends. But at the same time, I had a friend, Lee Morrison, and we still keep in contact today. Lee was the guy that was, he was always trying to pull me out of whatever problems I was getting myself into.
Right.
So I had this group of friends that were wanting to do whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
And then I had my friend Lee that was always trying to pull me, let's go play basketball. Why are you hanging out with them?
Right.
They're just going to do this and this and this. Let's go play basketball. Why you want to do this?
Right.
But Lee was also such a cool guy that it wasn't that he was nagging you. You didn't feel like, man, this nerd. No, because Lee was a cool dude.
Right.
He was a real cool dude, but Lee was just not about trouble. He was not into getting in trouble.
Right.
So I see the impact both can have, that, negative or having bad friendships. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us
Right.
that the man is upon the way of his friends.
Right.
And I definitely, in my childhood, I could see it, that, I had a group of friends who were calling me to one thing.
Right.
And then I had, my friend Lee and a few other guys. My friend Demont, Lee, Demont, Todd Harris, these guys were trying to pull me to go this side, which was no trouble. So I definitely can see how friendship can have an impact on the behavior of students. Now, regarding today's generation, I think it's a pretty much accepted, unanimous understanding that behavior has gotten worse. Now, would you agree with that sentiment?
Listen. It depends on where and who you're speaking to. So, in some schools here in Dubai, you'll find children who are like, you'd think they're angels. You know, they're amazing, they're focused, they're ready to learn, and there's some other schools that you go to and you're like, wow, these guys haven't matured enough yet to know what they want. I don't think it's a behavioral issue. I think it's a focus issue.
Focus?
Yeah.
As in attention span, or
yeah,
goals?
that too. Both. I would say a bit of both. So with the I'm not going to say advent, because social media is well integrated in our lives now. So with social media and with the access of social media, we have this instant gratification culture. So a lot of our young people, as I noticed, they want to like, oh, get on with the teaching. I want to learn this quickly. If I can learn this in a minute, just like open my head.
Can't.
Right?
I wish they can't.
It takes some time. Right.
It takes time to learn anything new.
But for them, because everything comes kind of, instant for them. Talabat is 15 minutes. Yeah. You go, and this country is so efficient.
Let me ask you, are you a Talabat guy or you're a noon?
I'm both.
Both?
I'm both.
I'm team noon now. I was crazy about Talabat.
Yeah, me too. Noon is doing most of my deliveries now. Yeah, I'm definitely. But with such an efficient system that the UAE, has provided, I feel like even myself, I came here, I was quite patient. I could wait, for, eternity for something to happen. Now I barely have the patience, because when I go anywhere, I'm expecting it to happen immediately.
Yeah, these
right?
are the dangers of.
Oh, I wouldn't say danger.
Efficiency.
I would say implications of the living in the modern world, right? With efficient systems, and the thing is, the concepts of like Kaizen, to constantly improve your processes, and I think UAE is about that, about that life, about improving every single system, every process, basically. They're so bent on that. I felt that, this is seen in the school system. So in a way, the children, I feel, are bored, and I feel like when I get them engaged with activities and all these different things to get them away from just, rote learning, memorizing from a book, or, didactic learning where the teacher stands and preaches to the children. Old school, when you get them on projects, when you get them building stuff, when you get them engaged and fired up, I recognize that the behavior, problem reduces. So it's about strategy, setting high expectations, making sure that when you go into the classroom, you kind of mentally design the classroom that you want, and you have the children follow those expectations, put charts in your room, raise your hands, keep repetition to keep those processes in place. And in our school we have something called the universal behavior, where we all do the same thing. So all the teachers come, we tell the children one specific thing, we're echoing the same things.
So that repetition kind of reinforces the expectation.
Right.
That nobody's doing something different, and everybody understands this is what's going to happen.
Right.
No matter what time of day it is, no matter what the teacher is.
Right. So if schools can also do that, make sure that they have one voice,
Let me push back on this. Do you think, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Right.
Do you think that kind of approach kind of takes away from the autonomy of the teacher and kind of, stifles creativity when it comes to, from the teacher's perspective?
I think creativity should be used in any way you see fit, right?
So using that method should not if you know what you're doing, it should not
Right.
stifle your creativity.
Right. So, for instance, we do the behavioral routine, and we'll have children. This is just the basic, and this is also to help newcomers who might have challenge with, like you mentioned, the diverse culture here.
Right.
We're dealing with so many different cultures. So some schools have designed a way that had worked in the past for them, and so they try to implement these with newcomers. So it is good to latch on to something when you get here, because sometimes you might not readily know what to do.
Right.
So having that system can give you that system is very good for beginners,
Very good.
right? But for the more
Also, the reality is
right,
there are some teachers that are excellent at their craft, but they don't have behavior management.
right,
So that method there will not only give them the
the
tools that
ammunition,
they need,
right,
and ammunition, but it also it won't make them look like, you've been teaching for 10 years, but you don't have classroom management.
Right.
What's up with that?
right,
So this kind of approach not only gives them the ammunition they need to deal with the behavior issues in
Right,
class, but it also
right.
kind of preserves their honor.
Absolutely. So, like, for example, you might, like, we came from, I can say, when I was back in Jamaica, for example, in my school, we had kids who were absolutely brilliant, and like, teachers don't know what it means to experience behavior problems.
Right.
So can you imagine teachers are teaching there for like 30 odd years, get a job here, and come
They're completely shocked.
they
What on
can't
earth is this?
handle it. Yeah. So sometimes it's just the fact that they've been in one system and they're not exposed to all of that. So it's okay to come out and experience these things, but it also strengthens you as a teacher. It increases your creativity, I believe, because even for me, I had to sit down, go back to the drawing board, and really think about what can I do, what kind of strategies. So even though the behavior management system works initially, eventually the kids evolve, and you have to, right? You have
Kids
to
are
also.
smart, no matter what it is you put in front of them, they're going to try
Right.
to find a way to
To
break through
yeah,
the system and
absolutely,
to bypass it.
100%.
You
Yeah.
mentioned a few points earlier, and I said, let me just take a mental note, because me, myself, I've wondered these issues, and I haven't had time to really discuss with another professional about it. Now, you mentioned that sometimes students are bored
Yeah.
in the classroom. And a common complaint I have from a lot of parents is that their child is addicted
Yeah.
to gaming.
Yeah.
Do you think that this addiction, this focus that some students have with gaming is having a negative effect in the classroom, where now, because they're not stimulated constantly like
Right.
the game, that lack of stimulation is now interpreted as boredom?
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I see that every day in my class. Children take their laptops and they would want to play games while you're teaching, and I have to say, guys, come on, you have to put that away, and let's get on learning. But I can say that there are many tools now that are out there that are helping teachers like gamify their teaching. So, I say that we have to evolve with the times. A lot of teachers might argue that, oh no, they need to go back to the way of doing things. Let's give them the old way of doing things. I'm like, but you're using cell phones. You're not using the analog phones anymore, right? We have to get up to the data. We're not using desktops, computers anymore. We're using our laptops. So as we're evolving with technology, the children are, and they are in the digital age because they're born in this. You get what I mean? So we have an olden way, but they don't. This is their way. So we need to kind of step up to the plate and adapt our thinking and get on board, right? I feel like the quicker we teachers, let go of our own old ways and step up to the challenge of, adapting, to this lifestyle, this digital lifestyle, I believe that the better it is for us.
So rather than trying to impose the old school paper and pencil,
Right.
we need to maybe find a way to lock down that device.
Right,
so
right.
that, okay, at this time, if I'm at the board explaining,
Right,
you're
right,
not
right.
able to play these games,
Right, right.
and you can focus with me. I see that point. I see
Right.
that point.
So we could even use games. For example, they have something called Blue Kit, right? They have
Which
these.
for my students is not allowed. Period. Don't try to use this as a reason. No. I
Right.
don't do blue kit. Don't ask me why. It's not happening.
Right.
Sorry.
But like, so when we do things like that, the only thing that would do is probably like add structure. So like instead of just like playing a game, they would have to make a note of, 10 things that they've learned, at the end of the Blue Kit challenge
Yeah,
or.
the gamification is for me,
Right.
since I discovered it, has been a game changer.
Absolutely.
Has been a game changer.
Yeah.
Because though I am from the old school and I want them to, understand the value of the pencil and paper, I see that trying to fight against the ocean is futile.
Right.
So it's been a very beneficial discussion we've had here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, at another time, discuss issue of behavior a bit more.
Yeah.
So we've definitely dealt with a lot of topics here, and hopefully, for those of you who are thinking of the profession, I hope that this discussion we have kind of alleviated any fears or any doubts that you had about coming in the classroom. Don't let behavior or the fear of the student's behavior be the thing that prevents you from coming in the classroom. Come on in the classroom, guys. We need you. As usual, folks, I say smile, stay classy, have a good day.